All right, Man Eater 38, and we're going to get educated today on infiltration and how that ended up taking out the Panthers and how they are using this strategy today. And then I'm going to give you my rant at the end of this. But first, let's get a little education, right? And learn a little bit today. Infiltration. Where did it come from? How did the Democrats get this strategy? Well, they stole it from a German general. His name was General Oscar van Houtier, and he developed this strategy in 1917. Instead of following preliminary bombardment with a mass infantry attack, just meaning just using the soldiers to just come in and just destroy that way, what they decided to do is like infiltrate the line and break up and get in position within the lining so the attack would be easier. And so the Democrats, now here we go, family. We are going to get into the strategy of how you see what you see today. This is where they got it from, okay, from this German general. And they are using it on civilians, and they shouldn't be using this on civilians. The only time there should be infiltration is when there's like a terrorist organization, sleeper cells. Those are military, that's a military strategy. That's where it was developed at. This guy was a German general, and he came up with that strategy during a time of war. You are not supposed to use war on civilians. You're not supposed to use war strategies on civilians unless they are bucking up against the system or, committing anarchy. Like you see, that's when it's okay for the military and the government to say, okay, we have to get these people off the streets. They're terrorizing other people. They're destroying people's homes and businesses. They're violently attacking civilians. So this is when the government will come in and implement a military strategy. Other than that, of people being upset about something or protesting about something, there is not supposed to be any type of war tactics used on those civilians. Okay, and we've seen this used by the KKK back in the day, and I'm gonna bring it a full circle in a minute. But let's just get through the strategy right quick. Here we go, right here. It says artillery preparation, a brief and intense bombardment of the enemy's positions to suppress them and disrupt lines of communication. So today, how they're using this strategy is on social media. They're trying to prop up as many people as they can, claiming to be a part of the Black Panther Party, to get on and dismantle the message of delineation, the fact that we support and love our country, the fact that we are not just out here hating white people or whatever. We are speaking to specific groups who are not all white. They are different ethnic groups in the government. So we are speaking to the government of people of many nationalities. Okay, so we are not just like have this intensified hatred towards white people like these people do, right? Which is funny because there are white people out there with them, but then they hate white people. So, I mean, it's really confusing and stupid at the same time. But they want to destroy our pride and our unity in this delineation movement and the reparations movement, and just common unity and working together and building, trying to get back stronger together as a black group, or getting our lineage rather together and just being stronger and showing more love for each other. They want to destroy all of that, and they want you to get in the streets and get yourself hurt for illegal aliens. Okay. Second, infiltration. Small, experienced troops would slip between enemy strong points, allowing them to surprise the defenders. So they were able to cloak themselves in a certain way, which was relaxing to the other soldiers, and they had no idea that they were setting up to attack them. And so this is what they're trying to do by using the Black Panther Party for self-defense, because they know so many of us have admiration for the good in the Black Panther Party. And so they want to try to use that by propping up these Black Lives Matter, Occupy Wall Street, these other NGOs that were formed under the United Nations movement, to kind of just dismantle that unity and that messaging that we have been so good at. And they seen that the message has resonated with so many people. That's why 4 million of us voted the couch. I voted for Trump. I'm for Trump. I messed with Trump all day. But those 4 million people that didn't vote were us, foundational Black Americans, and they are nervous. that 4 million might turn into 8 million or 20 million. They're very nervous about that. So they're really trying to use these people to get out there and go against everything that we have been building over the past 5, 6 years or whatever. I would say 8 years because you had ADOS, you got FBA, whatever. So, at least the past 8, 9 years, we have been building this up. And they want to destroy that and they want to use it to make it for what they want to make it for. And in the process, they will have other people set up. You will be the ones going to prison for 30 and 40 years. That's why they want us out there, because we will be the ones going to jail. We will be the ones being unalived and traumatized and probably maimed. Okay, it will be us out there, and that's what they want. They want to kind of fall back and put us on the front line, and we are not falling for it. Okay, we're not falling for it. We are standing strong, and I'm glad. Don't be confused about any of those people you see out there that are melanated, because you know that the majority of those people are not us. I don't think any of them are us, but there might be some of us who are easily misled out there. But don't ever think that it's the masses of us American Negroes, because we're not against our country. We don't want to kill people, unalive people. We don't want to burn down people's businesses. We want more of our own businesses. Okay, we are for capitalism. We are not Marxists. We are not communists. We are Americans, and we support capitalism. We want to actually have a real seat at our own table where we run and control things. Part of what the 10-point program wanted. Okay. And so the last part that I want to go over is the mass attack, because that's what we're seeing now. Because now you're seeing more and more of these Black Panthers all over social media, and it's just more of the same. It's just a mass continuation of attacks against civilians. They will be telling you, oh, FBA is a racist group, it's a hate group. I'm going to speak up and bring some factual information about that as well, because that is another lie that they are spreading online. But the mass attack, you're going to constantly see these videos all the way up until November. You're going to constantly see these videos of these people doing insurrectionist activities, speaking against foundational Black Americans, and kind of trying to put their group above that. You're going to constantly get hit with that. And you don't need to respond to everything. Only the most pertinent attacks, the ones that are, the most that can be the most damaging, or if they're trying to frame one of our brothers and sisters who we know are not a part of any of this anarchy activity. Here is what the Panthers were about, okay? Because you have a lot of stupidity going out here and forced messaging, forced flags, and just, again, a bunch of idiots out here. One in particular who's really chapping my ass. Okay, but this is the 10-point program. This is the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, the original. Okay, and this is just a little summary. Freedom and power for Black communities to determine their destiny. Yes, that's what we want. Full employment for Black people. Yes, and the reason why full employment has been disrupted, because the Democratic Party has allowed so many illegal aliens, and a lack of Republican response to these illegal aliens coming over here for so many freaking years. But this has dismantled our youth, especially, and a lot of us in our 40s and 50s, from gaining the prosperity that's rightfully ours, because they are using these people who don't have the education, the skills, and talent that we have to put on these jobs so that they can pay them a cheaper price. That's all this is about, is greed, right? For them. For these people who hire these people, it's just about greed. How can I increase profit share for investors? Which hey, as somebody who invests, I like to increase profit shares, but not at the demise of my own people, right? I would like this to be fair. Okay, there's a way everybody can be happy. Using illegal immigrants to work, knowing you have American people here who need jobs, and especially the youth. They need these jobs, especially in fast food, retail, movie theaters, things like that. If you look at a lot of the staff, you see older people. You see people like in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, and even up into their 50s in some cases in these places. And usually they will be a tether in there. And that's because they are illegal aliens, right? Because why would you want to be in your 30s and 40s and 50s working fast food and retail? That's not really going to give you a real substantive life. working for these places, right? But they don't mind because a lot of them have in their mind a dollar amount that they're going to obtain, and then they're going to flee back to their country, right? It's not really about creating a real American dream of life, and it's about getting to that dollar amount and taking that back and living cheaper over there. So, this is why you have black unemployment today, and especially for youth. Decent housing for black families. Yes, we're for that. Education that teaches true black history and role in society. Absolutely. Thank God my mother put me in Garrett A. Morgan. That is an elementary school by an inventor of the gas mask. And he also perfected the traffic light by installing the yellow light in between the red and the green because, white people were crashing into each other because they didn't have a way to slow them down. So Garrett A. Morgan came up with the yellow light to slow the traffic down, to yield them, to prepare them for a stop so they could stop crashing into each other. So that's what Garrett A. Morgan did. And he also created the first gas mask. So I was glad that I went to that school so that I had that knowledge. And in that school, white teachers and black teachers alike, it was their mission to make sure that we had pride in our country and that we knew who our inventors and who our war heroes were. And I thank God for going to that elementary school because I wouldn't be the true patriot that I am today, probably. Well, maybe not because my grandfather was a patriot or whatever. So I still would have had it instilled in me. But having it at school just kind of like magnified the sound and the importance of, being these things. So free healthcare for all. I don't know about free healthcare, affordable healthcare, right? But back then, different times. And to police brutality, absolutely. Now back then, you got to think about the 60s and down where they were just coming out of Jim Crow. So you had people still in the mindset of Jim Crow. This is just the 60s, right? So you had people still in that Jim Crow, very separatist mindset. And then you go back further down, you getting into slavery and all that. So you have people in that mindset. Bringing it up today, you still have pockets and patches of people with this mentality in government, and in law enforcement, shit, in the cafeteria, wherever. But it's not limited today to just white people. That group has expanded, right? So you're not just getting these things from white people. You're getting it from this group, from the Latin group, from the China group. So it could seem like you still, back in those days, but it's nothing like it was back then. But it still exist? Absolutely. The problem is we have more players now. If it was just white people, it might not seem as extreme, but because other groups have come to this country and decide they want to participate in it, it seems louder, you know, and stronger than what it actually is. So we definitely want to eradicate that. Land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. Absolutely. Immediate into all wars of aggression. Different time, different strategy. Today we have people trying to infiltrate and take over our country, okay, and have us under control, like the CCP and things like that. So today is a different time, and we may have wars, because we have to defend ourselves. China, shit, they practically own the Pacific Sea, so they surrounded us to a certain it's a certain extreme. They have surrounded us. Okay, guys, this was very important right here because you have a lot of people running around spreading false rumors talking about the government has tagged us as a hate group. So I went to Copilot. Right, they are just as informative as Chat GPT. Okay, I use both. We're gonna put the spotlight on Copilot today. Okay. Did the government declare foundational black Americans as a hate group? No. There's no evidence that the U.S. government has declared foundational black Americans, FBA, a hate group. Nothing in the available reporting, federal records, or credible sources indicates any such designation. The search results you triggered show discussions about the delineation movement and public commentary, but none show a government classification of FBA as a hate group. What the search results actually show: the coverage of delineation movement. Articles describe debates around FBA ADOS and related lineage-based identity movements. These discussions focus on ancestry, reparations, cultural identity, but not on hate group designations. Media commentary. Some political commentators have discussed FBA publicly, sometimes critically, but this is media reaction, not government reaction. Books and analysis. Books like Lineage Under Siege discuss discrimination against FBA, not accusations about FBA being a hate group. Important clarification. Who actually labels groups as hate groups? The US government does not maintain a public list of domestic hate groups. The term is typically used by private organizations such as Southern Poverty Law Center. SPLC has not designated FBA as a hate group either. Why? Because they are trying to formulate heritage Americans, right? They need deep in that. Why the rumor exists? There has been online misinformation. All right. Today, in remembrance of Dr. King, we hold these truths to be self-evident right here today. Okay? And I know, sometimes educating in articles, it can get boring, but you rather have the information than not have it. Okay? So, The Inconvenient Truth About the Democratic Party, this was written by Carol Swain. Okay? I'm not going to go through all of this, but I'm going to go through the most pertinent parts. When you think about racial equality and civil rights, which political party comes to mind? The Republicans or the Democrats? Most people would probably say the Democrats. But this answer is incorrect. Since its founding in 1829, the Democratic Party has fought against every major civil rights initiative and has a long history of discrimination. The Democratic Party defended slavery, started the Civil War, opposed Reconstruction, founded the Ku Klux Klan, imposed segregation, perpetuated lynchings, and fought against the Civil Rights Act of the 1950s and 60s. In contrast, the Republican Party was founded in 1854 as an anti slavery party. Its mission was to stop the spread of slavery into the new Western territories with the aim of abolishing it entirely. The effort, however, was dealt a major blow by the Supreme Court in the 1857 case Dred Scott versus Sanford, which we all know by now. If you haven't read it, go read it. The court ruled that slaves aren't citizens, they're property. The seven justices who voted in favor of slavery, all Democrats. The two justices who dissented, both Republicans. Okay? Slavery question was, of course, ultimately resolved by a bloody civil war. The commander in chief during that war was the first Republican president, Abraham Lincoln, the man who freed the slaves. Okay. Now, I'm just going to skip now. Please come back and read this. Please come back, type up the name. I will go over the name again. Come back and read the whole document. But what I wanted to get to is right over here. Okay, it talks about how the Democrats, they quickly reestablished white supremacy across the region with measures like black codes, laws that restricted the ability of blacks to own property and run businesses. And they imposed poll taxes and literacy tests used to subvert the black citizens' right to vote. And how was all of this enforced? By terror. Much of it instigated by the Ku Klux Klan, founded by a Democrat, Nathan Bedford Forrest. Look him up. And so, in effect, the Klan was a military force serving the interests of the Democratic Party. It goes on to tell you about Woodrow Wilson and his usage and yada yada. What I want to get down to. Okay, here it goes, right here. Very good, very good. And when all of their efforts to enslave blacks, keep them enslaved, and keep them from voting had failed, the Democrats came up with a new strategy. If black people are going to vote, they might as well vote for Democrats. As President Lyndon Johnson was purported to have said about the Civil Rights Act, I'll have them in words voting Democrat for 200 years. So now the Democratic Party poses on the votes of the very people it has spent much of its history oppressing. And this is what you see today, family. This is what you see today. They are now, in turn, reverting back to using the Ku Klux Klan strategy, only they're rebranding it as civil rights activists, people from NGOs, Occupy Wall Street, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and now another new Black Panther Party for self-defense. So they never stray. They are one-trick ponies. They never stray. They have always been against Black people. This is why it makes no sense for us to vote for these people. We should be practicing on how to dismantle this party legally, non-violently through our votes by getting rid of them. And this is something that I had proposed 9 years ago, and I was called the type of coons and everything. And we are Democrats. We have to be Democrats. That's our party, and we built them. But you helped build a party that was inadvertently oppressing, sabotaging, endorsing the unalivings of us and hurting and harming our people. And that's what they have been doing over these past 60 years. So what you see going on in the streets is paid for, sponsored, and orchestrated through the Democratic Party. This is where these people come from. They tap them on the shoulders and they get them out there spewing all type of nonsense and rhetoric in the name of our great, wonderful leaders. And it's all a pile of crap. Okay, so you know how it goes in the world of hip hop. You only get a few bars. Fake thug, no love. You get the slug CB4 gusto. Your luck low. I didn't know till I was drunk though. You freak niggas played out. Get fucked and ate out. Prostitute turned bitch. I got the gauge out. 96 ways I made out Montana way. The good fella verbal AK spray. Dip attache. Jump out the range. Empty out the ashtray. A glass of Zay make a man cash his clay. Red dot plots murder schemes. 32 shotguns regulate with my duns. 17 rocks gleam from one ring. Yo, let me let y'all niggas know one thing. There's one life, one love, so there can only be one king, motherfucker, and it ain't you. There can only be one king, motherfucker, and it ain't you.